Yes, so we're videoing the interviews with the mental health workers. They'll be taped, they'll be recorded, there'll be witnesses there. This has come about by somebody we believe to be one of the through the YouTube, who has began attacking Brian through his own site, and he evicted her from his site, and she came to my site, Gabacca Road, and now my site is it's there for people to witness the work that we're doing in New Guinea. It became obvious that this woman was making it her mission to, her words on my site and in the comments that she's left on my site, is to expose Brian for the mental health patient that she has assessed that he is. She alluded to him displaying symptoms that she has witnessed as her position, whatever that is, within the mental health system. And it became quite obvious to me that this woman was making a point of getting Brian and going after him for some reason, in spite of the marvellous work that he's doing and the good works that he's always done in educating people in the truth, taking a cure into a nation that is living underneath a death sentence, restoring people from life to death. Now months and months later, this woman has made it her mission to get him. I'll be quite honest with you, it seems to me that whoever the woman is has a mental health issue herself. That's just my honest opinion. However, so we are recording everything as usual. There is nothing about Brian that is anything other than light, life, truth, wisdom, a good deal of common sense and logic. As somebody who has, and I'm talking about myself here, from a very young age, as a teenager, I began investigating things myself. I always looked to alternatives. I did not buy the party line when it came to my own personal health, nor the health of my family. And I've known that it's been an agenda, yes, it's been an agenda by pharmaceutical corporations to shut down anybody who would dare think outside of the box, let alone act outside of the box. And we know of cases that have happened within the United States very recently where people have been arrested and been charged with all kinds of things because at the end of the day they're guilty of treating people with alternative treatments, and they've made them well again. Now, speaking about the USA, there are camps, they're called FEMA camps, close to, well, there's estimated to be between 600 and 800 of them spread right throughout the USA. They have been set up like concentration camps. Well, actually they are concentration camps. The barbed wire facing in, as my son, that's not to keep people out, that's to keep people in. They have gas chambers already set up on site. Outside of them are trains that have been manufactured, train carriages. The largest shipment being 103,000 carriages that were manufactured in China for the USA. These carriages are mostly empty, but they have ventilation systems through them, around the top of them. Some witnesses who have seen the carriages and have published it out there have actually seen guillotines inside these carriages, as well as manacles. And manacles, of course, are to take somebody into bondage and keep them as a prisoner. These camps have been established over the decades with not only the monies, but of course the knowledge that comes down through the United Nations. And of course above the United Nations you have those who are eugenists. Now, eugenists believe in natural selection or the survival of the fittest. They go back to the middle of the 19th century, before even the 1878 timeline of the AIDS virus, the development of the AIDS virus begins. And it is their, it's part of their religion actually, as a eugenist, to decide who lives and who dies. Of course, they're the ones that should live, being superior to the animals with hands, 2 hands. That's us. That's anybody else who isn't them. It's been their targeted and planned genocide of wiping out vast populations of people, beginning with the black population. It's been them behind the scenes that worked on the mycoplasma, crystallizing it and adding it to smallpox vaccines, hepatitis B vaccines. 15,000 gallons of the AIDS virus under the watch of the Jimmy Carter presidency was dispersed into the world through the smallpox vaccination program into South Africa and the hepatitis B vaccination into Manhattan, into the gay community. It's part of the government record now, 1971 flow chart that is available through the Boyd Graves website that ties together every element, every contract awarded to pharmaceutical companies who have their scientists, first of all, working on the viruses themselves and how to mix it with the mycoplasma. Then, of course, dispensing the vaccines, of course, they develop the vaccines that are mixed with the viruses. And then, of course, they come back in with their drugs, like the AZT, the antivirals that for the record, are totally ineffective. And in fact, there are cases now before the Supreme Court in London where spouses of dead partners are challenging and taking to court and saying that the AZT is actually responsible for the hastened death of their partners who were perfectly fine until they began taking their drugs. It is now common dissent amongst many scientists out there, and their voices again are being heard in the world of truth that is still being uploaded through the YouTube and other organisations who have made it a point of getting the truth out there. Even the HIV blood testing itself is known to be, depending upon which country you're in, determines whether you are positive or negative by virtue of the standards that are vary between nation and nation. There is, in the world of science, much question being asked very loudly, much evidence being brought forth, backing up everything that Brian has been teaching now for a long time. It is not new knowledge now. Those that are willing to do the research themselves, start thinking outside of the box of the medicine and the health standards and the university educated clones, if you like, taking a look outside of the box at the reality of just how this world has been turned into a world of death, all financed mostly through pharmaceutical companies, because money is the root of all evil.